Does in such cases him being the Aamir Khan helps to put the film out?
Absolutely. I to fully use him. I vasulo his star power wherever I can. I'm like, you're here, please stand and give us 3 pictures. Do everything I can to tell people, भैया पहली मार्च को आ रहे देखिए आमिर खान ने बनाया है इनका फिल्म है आइए देखिए. So you know, I use him shamelessly. No, Aamir is a pretty rare character like that, who's a person who's in the public eye, who really takes responsibility for what he does.
That's the word.
And I think that's really admirable. But there's a sort of a perverse interest in the personal lives of stars, and I understand that. Like, people are obsessed with why, you know, what's your relationship like, what do you eat, where have you gone, with who. I think commercial films are those that would appeal to a broad, wide audience, would be accessible in that sense. And honestly, they don't have to be dumb, they don't have to be action thrillers. This has to go with that, you know, disclaimer that commercial films do not need to tick some boxes that some trade pundits have put on the film. At the back of our minds, we know that audiences soon leti hai achhi film. I mean, 12th Fail is a case in point, you know, where it's done so well, no big stars, no, you know, great thrilling action.
Aamir was also tempted on this script.
Yeah, he really wanted to play Inspector Manohar, Ravi Kishan's character, and you know, he would have been great, honestly, and it would have made a huge difference in the box office and all the rest of it. So, in many ways, I keep being asked, "Arey, आपने आमिर खान को नहीं लिया?"
Hi guys, this is Ankita. You're tuned to Bollywood Bubble, and today we have with us filmmaker Kiran Rao, who is first and foremost going to tell me why the ladies are Laapataa.
Catchy title, huh? Yeah, it was a fun title. The story was, when we first got it, it was written by Biplab Goswami, and he had called it Two Brides. And it was an English title. We just felt like we wanted something a little one to Hindi film hai, Hindi title chahiye thi. But uske alawa, we felt like we wanted a title that was catchy, that would reflect some of the humor in the film, and also say a little bit more than just ke do dulhan hai, you know.
Dulhan hai. Kiran, 13 years or 12 to 13 years almost after Dhumi Kaat. But itna lamba break kyun? Koi aisi script nahi thi jo itna excite kari that you want to sit on the other side of the camera and call the shots?
You know, बहुत exciting scripts थे और हैं हमारे पास. बहुत कोशिश और मेहनत गई है उनको to make them like good, ready to make. But I don't know whether it was like some sort of overthinking on my part, where I was just not happy with the scripts. And I've heard a lot about like the second film syndrome.
Oh,
you know, once you've made your first film, the second film is always much harder because you kind of have this pressure on yourself, you know. So I had exciting scripts which now I'm hopefully going to make. So hopefully not another 13 years.
Laapataa Ladies is coming at a time जहाँ पे audience palette, as we call, जो हर season बदलता है. We are more into the actioner, massy cinema. This gem of a story, how are you placing it as a filmmaker? Do you have those palpitations? Is it coming at the right window?
Yeah, of course I have palpitations. The cinema, you know, I don't know, the theatrical business धीरे धीरे अभी आ रही है, and you know, the films that are doing well are all the big ones, which are big action thrillers and big stars. So in that environment, to bring a film like this is a risk. But I think both Aamir and I are really confident of the film itself. So if people give it a chance, I think it'll run, you know, I think people will enjoy it. So palpitations बहुत हैं, sleepless nights थोड़े हैं. We are 2 days away now from the release, but there's a confidence. And I think at the back of our minds, we know that audiences soon leti hai achhi film. They know when it's a good film and they turn out to watch it. I mean, 12th Fail is a case in point, you know, where it's done so well, no big stars, no, you know, great thrilling action. So I do think audiences are looking for good stories.
Kiran, how important it is कि अगर हम लापता लेडीज जैसी फिल्म की बात करें जहाँ पे I have seen the film guys, so I can say this on record, जहाँ पे हम एक सोशियो पॉलिटिकल जैसे मल्टीपल इश्यूज टच करते हैं, उन्हें एक ह्यूमरस टेक देना, क्योंकि कॉमेडी इन इटसेल्फ अब लोगों को ऑफेंसिव लगना शुरू हो गई है. जोक्स तक अपने आप में एक डेफिमेशन लेकर आ जाते हैं. उस टाइम में एक इतने सारे आपने बहुत इश्यूज टच किए हैं. If I'll just name one as per the trailer, not to give anything away, something like corruption or a dowry. How you get humor in them?
पहले तो स्क्रिप्ट में सारी चीज़ें बहुत अच्छी सी लिखी गई थी. There were like all these lovely layers that we had added in the script. But one of the things we really felt was we have to be able to laugh at ourselves in order to change anything. You know, in order to even be able to look at हमारी खामियां को देखने या to just even sort of understand what makes us this complicated society and world. You know, so you're right. I mean, comedy now can get you defamation suits and put you in jail, but I kind of feel that's you know, I don't think it should be the case, because I genuinely believe people will respond, because this is a very real story. It's actually what happens or can happen, and people, you have to be able to see the humor sometimes in the very dire situations that we are in. You know, we definitely need a dose of humor in our lives. So yeah, I'm hoping that people take it in the right way.
I hope so. Kiran, when you decide to direct a film, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me, Aamir was also tempted on this script.
Yeah, he really wanted to play Inspector Manohar, Ravi Kishan's character, and you know, he would have been great, honestly, and it would have made a huge difference in the box office and all the rest of it. So in many ways I keep being asked, "Arey, आपने आमिर खान को नहीं लिया?" So it's true, it was a bit of a dilemma, honestly, because you know, he's a great actor, he's a superstar, so he would put bums on seats, as they call it.
I was coming to that. I love that line of your bums on seat. I've written it.
तो ये क्या है कि I just felt like, you know, his being a big superstar would have changed your perception or the expectation from the role. It's a character who, actually, the beauty of the character is his unpredictability, is the fact that you don't know what he's going to do next.
Yes.
And with Aamir, somewhere subconsciously, being the kind of star he is, there would have been, I felt, some pressure on the character. And also Ravi Kishan is just such an organic fit. He's such a great, like, delicious, like, yeah, he's so good with his pan, and you know, he just knows that person. He knows those people, and he is very, very real in that space. So he won out.
Has it ever happened that there is a script on table in the production house, and Aamir and aapke beech mein there is who's going to pick it, because he's a phenomenal director and he takes his own sweet time as well to pick something up. Yeah. Have you ever been at crossroads? Let's either me or you, who will going to pick up and direct it?
No. There's never been. In fact, if there had been, I would have made a film much earlier, because, you know, I was part of all the readings of all the films. But somehow this one felt like it was mine. It touched all the things that I wanted to, and Biplab's story was so funny to begin with, really funny story, and I love comedy, you know, and people don't associate that with me. I made like a serious first film and all. So, you know, I would have grabbed. If there was anything, I would have been like, ye mera hai.
Kiran, is that also the conscious decision newcomers lene hain? Kyunki after Dhobi Ghat and after being associated with cinema for so long, be it Mami and being always there to speak about films and stuff, you could have picked up anyone.
That's true.
But why these three new people? Why them and not any other, maybe say an upcoming actor?
I think it was because Aamir and I both felt that this story is so real, it needed people to really believe these characters. You know, the story needed to feel very real and honest and authentic. And there's a certain authenticity that fresh faces bring. You know, you are willing to buy that they live in 2001 Nirmal Pradesh, you know. And you know, of course, there's a huge wealth of great actors in this country who are not stars and could easily play the role. So I felt like kind of in that sense, the lack of expectation that you have from a fresh face, कि पता नहीं क्या करेंगे, कौन है, you don't have any previous history with this person, you know. So that makes a director's job much easier in terms of manipulation.
It does. Yeah. So, will you stick to the line you quoted for your own self that you are a commercial Kameena filmmaker?
Kameena commercial, yeah.
Kameena commercial filmmaker, are you?
Well, Kameena maybe, yes. I hope I'll be commercial.
But what is commercial for you?
I think commercial films are those that would appeal to a broad, wide audience, would be accessible in that sense, and honestly, they don't have to be dumb, they don't have to be action thrillers. This has to go with that sort of, you know, disclaimer that commercial films do not need to tick some boxes that some trade pundits have put on the film. You know, I think commercial films are those that audiences want to watch because they like the idea of the story. Like I said, again, 12th Fail.
Exactly.
You know, about Vikrant Massey, guy that nobody knows, playing a character in a dusty Indian town, struggling character, you know, for 2.5 hours. But people really want to watch that struggle. They want to see, you know, what happens. So, so yeah, I do think stories are the hero of most films. It's not the star power, really. It's the story is the hero. And if we put out the right kind of story in the right way, they'll be commercial, I think.
Do you also think that with Aamir and you, and I say both of you because if you have previously seen the kind of films even Aamir has got in last decade or so, you both are also taking an onus on yourself to bring out stories which nobody else would like to tell. Because they are not your tread-of-the-mill regular stories. Starting from a Dangal, nobody would want to play a father at that age when he was at the peak of where he is today.
Yeah.
But still, between you guys, you pick up those stories which you think normally people would not pick up and put their money on.
I think importantly for Aamir, because he's the one who finally decides what AKP makes, I think, again, like I said, the story is so, it chooses him rather than he chooses the story. The story is like, mujhe batana, aapko batana hai meri kahani, you know, like, it's, and it's, I think, because Aamir organically understands story, understands human beings quite well, and is able to tell when a story has that kernel of, like, you know, magic that will make it in the cinema. And I suppose playing certain characters just excites him. Everybody told him, you know, during Dangal ki bhaiya, you know, you're going to be an overweight uncle. You know, what are you doing? But it was such a great character for him that he couldn't resist it. And I think stories are like that. They become irresistible. And so even say a Tare Zameen Par would not have been made perhaps by many people, but the
Secret
story was
superstar
irresistible.
for that matter. Again, I don't think anyone would be willing to play that much of a part.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it does. Aamir is...
that's Aamir.
Yeah.
I asked this question because Kiran, also when it comes to Laapataa promotions as well, we see you and Aamir, so like, you know, hand in hand, shoulder by shoulder, promoting it and taking it to all the relevant places where it should be. Does in such cases, him being the Aamir Khan helps to put the film out?
Absolutely. I to fully use him. I vasulo his star power wherever I can. I'm like, you're here, please stand, give us 3 pictures. Yeah, because we have a small film. I really need to do everything I can to tell people, भैया पहली मार्च को आ रहे देखिए आमिर खान ने बनाया इनका फिल्म है आइए देखिए. So you know, I use him shamelessly.
But coming to you and your cinema, is it always that, or will it always that Kiran Rao's film will address issues where women lack agency somewhere?
I don't know if always. I'm sure I'll always try to sort of create interesting, complex characters, people's complex experiences. And certainly I'm very interested in women's experience, and being a woman myself, I'm very interested that women's stories be told. Women and many other kinds of people whose stories are always marginalized, you know. So I don't know if it'll always be this kind of film, but I imagine those, you know, sort of concerns of mine or those interests of mine will always come through in my films.
Do you agree with the term, Kiran, of a female filmmaker? Because I actually don't understand how a gender being written before your profile or your job is important. How?
Yeah, well, I am female and I'm a filmmaker, so I guess I'm okay with it. Like, technically it's fine to call me a woman director. But I'm not as annoyed with that as many women would be, I think. Perhaps because I feel like women are very underrepresented when it comes to my profession, and in many professions I think women lack representation and their voice is heard. So whether it's in terms of just sort of highlighting the fact that there are women who are directors, there are women cinematographers, there are women who are composers, and prefacing it with our gender, if it helps put the word out that, boss, we need more women, more queer people, more people with disability, more people from other castes, more people, different kinds of people making films or telling stories, then great, please go ahead and call me a woman director. I have no problem.
Good. How's the relationship between you and Aamir as a director and a producer? Like, of course, director has his own set of frame.
Yeah.
And Aamir's hidden director is also there, and Aamir is also the producer. Then how do you battle that?
He's actually he's very hands-off when it comes to, once he gives you a project, he tries to let you do what you think, because genuinely he kind of casts the director to the project in many ways. Like he has to be very sure that this director gets the story and will make the kind of honest film that he would like to, it's his name at the end of the day, would like to produce. So once he does that, he doesn't interfere at all very much. When he comes in at the scripting stage, and he kind of like, will make sure that the script is what he thinks is a good one. And then he comes in when we are editing. To just, so to tell that like, okay. And he often comes in when the casting is happening, because casting is such a big part of your film, because that's the face of your film.
That's your face.
So he does come in at these 3 points, but Aamir, the director, he only brings in around the editing stage, when he's like, maybe we can do this or that, but otherwise no interference.
Can you also spoken about, some templates in film which we always use, be it like a stalking or wooing. And the example you gave in was Bahubali, which if I look at in hindsight is actually true. Somebody was just switched off their feet.
I'd rather not talk about this.
I'll skip this.
Yeah, please.
No, because I was coming to something else, but it's okay. We'll skip this one.
Yeah.
No worries here. How important it is, Kiran, that any cinema which you make or you see or you view, if it doesn't comes to at fore with your own value system, that it should be spoken about and discussed. How important it is for all the filmmakers and all the creative people, that if we don't resonate with something, we speak about it.
It's a personal choice. I feel people should make the films they believe in, and we as an audience or as artists and the creative community should respond if we feel it's and if we feel it in some way, we feel strongly about it. So I don't think it's actually great when films can engender some kind of debate.
Exactly.
Or start some sort of a conversation. It's great. It helps us be kind of re-examine ideas, issues that we all feel strongly about, or make us better filmmakers and artists, because if we don't respond to each other, then there's no dialogue, there's no going forward also.
I remember I watched Aamir Sir's Satyamev Jayate episode, where he was speaking about one of his old films, and it is so good to see that an actor who's done so much work in his career is willing to reflect back and say that maybe the choices what I would made at a certain stage in my career were not the best suited. And I think that takes a lot of courage, that everyone should be out there and speaking about it.
Yeah.
We just normally shut ourselves.
No, Aamir is a pretty rare character like that, who's a person who's in the public eye, who really takes responsibility for what he does.
That's the word.
And I think that's really, really admirable.
I will give it to that. Kiran, I know everyone has been asking you, but please let me ask you as well. I think you genuinely make for this, not just you, I would say to the entire family of yours, for this inclusive modern Indian family. You people are always there, be it Reema, you for Ira's wedding. You've been so candid about your divorce, and yet when we see all of you together, I think this is the picture of India I would like to see, where there is no shame attached to any of the aspects which we often try to brush under the carpet. How you people as a family, as a unit, come together to put this out, because this is a brave statement in itself which nobody even realizes and comes with a lot of strength.
Yeah, I guess we didn't try very hard for it. It's very natural. We are family, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
We just don't think about it so much. It is what it is. This is us, So people, I think, find it unusual, but we have always all been close, and we continue to be close. I mean, we don't think that some sort of a social tag defines our real relationships, So
yeah. Because I remember out of the entire conclave which you did recently, you're just one hilarious comment on मैंने 10-15 चीज़ों का list आमिर को दिया है improve करने को, that becomes a headline. How you also respond to that, even when you're open to give out your life and to discuss it in the public forum? Ultimately, what get picked up is just
I think it's quite I'm accustomed to it, but there's a sort of a perverse interest in the personal lives of stars, and I understand that. Like, people are obsessed with what do you what's your relationship like? What do you eat? Where do you, where have you gone with who? That's kind of exciting to people. I suppose I'm fine with it. I've been used to it. It's been now almost 20 years that I've been seeing Aamir, so I kind of made peace with it a long time ago.
There were a couple of years back, you spoke about the pay parity in the industry. From then to now, I think it was during Secret Superstar, I remember that press conference, From then to now, do you think as, again, because women, female, if the agency helps, we will talk about it, the script writers or the artists, are they at a stage where the things are improving?
I think the film industry is actually a very fair place compared to many industries when it comes to paying women. And women are quite valued within the industry. We just don't have enough representation. There are not enough women in the industry. And I think that needs some very conscious change, which we as producers and filmmakers must undertake to do ourselves, like in our own units, and ensure, for instance, pay parity in our own units. I think most of this comes from actors and, possibly the pay parity between big stars, whether they're women or men. And that's a kind of a more complex discussion that I feel like I should leave to people who understand the economics of cinema a little bit better, because their pay is almost always very directly connected with film economics. But in general, I think it certainly has improved, if not, it was always pretty good in the film industry. I think in general life, perhaps we must examine how we treat women, how we pay women for equal work.
I think even the women who handle a house also are still not valued for being called the homemakers.
Yeah.
So that's how. And lastly, on a lighter note, and this is I think the most easiest thing I'll ask you. If ever Kiran Rao, the director, has to pick up a script for Aamir Khan to cast him as an actor, it can be any film which has already been made. What would be that hypothetical one particular film? I would see the combination. I would not put it in future, but any film which you have seen over the years in Bollywood and Hollywood, Kiran the director and Aamir the actor, what would be the combination?
Oh, Kiran the director and Aamir the actor. Ooh, I'd love to make, I hate to say it, but I'd love to make a sequel to Dhobi Ghat 2, because Dhobi Ghat 2, because he was so wonderful in Dhobi Ghat. I feel like, I know a lot of people felt that, oh, why did you take a star? Everybody else was real, but he was he emotes so much with his eyes, and he does so much without doing very much, that I feel that was very undervalued in some way in my film. I'd love to do it again, and I don't think he gets enough of those roles where it's not so much performance, but it's quite underplaying and a quiet character. I found that very romantic, so I loved him in that.
We wouldn't mind a Dhobi Ghat 2 with Aamir Khan spearheading it, so why not? But thank you, Kiran, for your time. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for the cinema, because very few people out there would tell stories with a smile, and this one brought a big smile to my face. I won't lie, I entered the screening with a lot of thought in my mind that will it be a very serious film, and there'll be too much of speculation. We laughed. We laughed throughout, the bunch of us. I can't tell you, I had such a good time. So I hope people also do.
So happy to hear that. So happy.
Thank you for the movies, and hoping this time there is no 12-year haitius.
Yeah.
We will see you more soon.
Yes.
With more of the work out there.
Hope this is a commercial success, so I can
Bums
be more Kamina.
Yeah. Bums on scenes for us. Yeah. We'll do that. But thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for doing this.
Hi, this is Kiran Rao, and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble.